And I wanted to make this video because it's too much to type in the comment section. Hopefully you watch this. I'm not making this video with any animosity. There's no hatred in my heart at all. This is strictly educational. I'm going to preface by saying every single thing that I say can be verified. If you don't believe me after you watch this, send me a comment commenting on something that I've said that you might think that I'm bullshitting on, and I'll send you a link. I'll find something that I'll find video evidence, audio evidence, digital documents, whatever the case may be, to prove that this is the case. FBI statistics, whatever the case may be. Because when Eminem was saying that Trump sent Secret Service to his house, you're like, oh man, Trump is such a fucking clown. And then you congratulated Biden. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a few facts between the two. And if you don't believe me, watch a YouTube video called Jim Crow Joe. Crow, C-R-O-W-E. Jim Crow Joe. It shows you the racist shit that Joe Biden's done towards blacks for the last 47 years. He created the 1994 Crime Bill Act, which he had actually been pushing for about 20 years. Maybe 10. No, I think he had been pushing it since the 70s. I could be wrong on that, but it doesn't matter. So the law was basically designed to target black people. And not only target black people, but to keep them in prison with harsher sentences. And during an interview where he's talking about it, he called black people super predators. He was also against busing. And Kamala Harris actually confronted him on this years ago. I think it was years ago. Before she was elected as vice president, before this shit started with her being being nominated to be vice president for Democrats. She told this whole story about being against, how Biden was against busing, which basically allows black people to go to schools outside of a poor black district to get a better education in another district. He was against that. He also considered Strom Thurmond, who was a known open racist, and you'll see him say the word nigger in office in that Jim Crow Joe YouTube video. Biden calls him a mentor. He said he's a mentor. Biden also performed a eulogy said a eulogy at a former KKK member's funeral. I can't remember the guy's name. Something Doyle, I think was his name, or something Bird. I can't remember. But in 47 years, Biden has done nothing to help black people. In 4 years of fucking Trump being president, he's lowered the unemployment rate. He's got more black people working. He's got more black people off welfare. He created the First Step Act in December of 2018 to get black people and Hispanic, to get all people, but because prisons are majority black and Hispanic, which that's not his fault. It's not like you can't take it away from him, like, well, it is, like, he didn't do that. But the First Step Act it helps to get black people and it helps to get people, which primarily happen to be black and Hispanic, out of jail. Non-violent offenders, that he gets them out of jail on early release for non-violent crimes. He's also granted clemency to over 26 people at this time. So he's not only getting them out of jail, he's wiping their record clean. So when they go to get a job application and it says, are you a felon? They can check, no. They have complete clemency. So while Biden in 47 years has been locking up black people, Trump's been setting them free in the last 4. Kamala Harris, she was locking black people up because their kids were going to school, or not, showing up. They weren't showing up for school. when she was a district attorney and a state's attorney, she was locking black parents up under a truancy act. I can't remember, not truancy act, but or truancy bill, truancy law. And you can see that on YouTube too. Like, she laughs about it. She's like, yeah, when I was a state's attorney, it was a controversial move. She's laughing maniacally at it. She also locked up tens of thousands of black people for smoking weed. But she was on The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God. I think it was The Breakfast Club. I think it was. And she said that, yeah, she was in college, she smoked weed. And she's like, and I did inhale. And she's laughing. Hypocrite. So it's all right for her to smoke weed, but then she becomes a state's attorney, and she pushes for harsh sentences to lock black people up for smoking weed. So when their kids aren't going to school, her solution was to take the parents away from the children. Democrats also want open borders. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said on social media, on a Facebook stream, she said that she wants to open the borders and give free health care to undocumented immigrants. Undocumented immigrants is a fancy term for illegal aliens. So you don't get free health care for being born in America. If you're born in America, I don't get free health care for being born, and I don't want it. Free health care blows. That's why people from Canada come to America, because they're tired of waiting in a long ass line to get substandard fucking health care. That's the problem with free health care. Anything free sucks. That's why public school education is not as good as private school education. If you're going to pay for it, if you're willing to pay for it, it's going to be better than if it's given to you for free. So it really breaks my heart to see somebody, a black man especially, say that Donald Trump is a clown and Biden is somebody that you vote for, when Biden has done nothing in almost 50 years. Not only has he done nothing to help black people, he's actually done a shitload to put you in jail. And Trump has spent 4 years getting black people out of jail, getting them off welfare. Democrats created the KKK. Democrats, Margaret Sanger, look it up, the founder of Planned Parenthood. Over 400,000 abortions are performed by Planned Parenthood a year. 1/3 of them are on black women. If you look at a pregnant woman walking down the street in New York, it is statistically more likely that she's going to an abortion clinic than that she's going to a hospital to get fucking checked out, to check out the safety and the welfare of her child. These are all designed to keep black people from populating to becoming more of a majority. It's designed to keep you and your population of people down so that your vote doesn't matter, because only half of the population votes. So if 13% of the population is black, only about 6%, 7% are going to vote. That ain't a lot of people. And you'll notice, as they open up the borders and Mexicans move into this country, Mexicans are actually going to become a higher minority per capita than blacks. So you're going to see Democrats shift to focusing more on worrying about what they can do to help Hispanics out, because they want to get the votes of minorities, and you are the lowest minority of minorities. So they're not going to give a fuck about you. They're going to stop talking about helping you. And what they want to give you, welfare, reparations, stimulus, none of these things work. 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson started the welfare state. They went door to door telling black women that they could marry into the government, basically. If there's no man in the house, then the government will pay them money. Since 1964, the amount of children, black children, being raised in a single parent household, usually by a woman, because they kick the man rolls out, has jumped from 20% to almost 77% in 60 years. Welfare doesn't work. It destroys people's reason to fucking get up and go to work. Democrats push that on black people to keep you down. Trump was trying to get people off welfare and get them working, and he has. He's lowered unemployment lower than it's been in 50 years. Everything he said he was going to do. He destroyed ISIS. He killed Qasem Soleimani. He went out and he flat out said that he told the Iranians, he said, you can keep shooting our drones down, you can fire whatever missiles you want. You kill one American, and I'm going to fuck you up. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. That's exactly what happened. Qasem Soleimani was behind, he was on a terrorist watch list for over 10 years. Back when during the Obama administration, they had been watching him. He fucking was the one that was behind the planning of the American embassy bombing, or not bombing, but the attack in Baghdad in Iraq. He's a general, a high-ranking general in the Quds Force, which is a special ops division for the Iranian government, for the Iranian military. Number 2 to their Ayatollah, which is their president. He fucking launched a missile at a coalition base that had Iraqi and American forces. That's why it was called a coalition, because it was Iraqi and Americans. Launched a missile, and they killed an American contractor, a civilian contractor. Within a week, Qasem was dead. We launched a fucking missile and took his ass out. I think it was at an airport. Trump has done everything that he said he was going to do. So when I see somebody saying that Trump is a clown, that lets me know that you watch too much CNN, or you listen to too many people and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You have no idea the great things Trump has done for black people and the fucked up things that Biden's done for 47 years to keep your people down, and you call Trump a clown. Trump is considered, the whole world is watching this, by the way. The whole world's watching the American election. The whole world sees the evidence of the ballot fraud. This is all real shit. They're fucking snatching up ballots from mailboxes. They're covering up the windows inside of the voting areas so that people can't look in and observe what's going on. Why would you do that if you're being honest? That makes no sense. In Michigan, they said they were going to stop counting at 10 o'clock at night and resume 10 o'clock the next morning. But at 4:30 in the morning, they all of a sudden came up with 138,000 votes for Biden. They're using Sharpies in Arizona. The Sharpies bleed through the fucking paper and they don't get read properly, so it becomes a non-vote. And Arizona was a state that was almost certainly going to go to Trump. This is all verifiable. There's video evidence. I've watched all the shit. There's dead people voting. There's people voting that aren't registered in the state that they voted for. So they're voting in their state, but they're also going to other states and voting. There's underage people, 17 years old, getting caught voting. They're not even old enough to vote. These people are lying to you. You've got to do your research. You're willing to put in the work with these reaction videos, so put in the work. Because if you're out there, if you didn't vote, good. Because if you voted for Biden, then you just actively made it more likely that a president is going to be oppressing you. You literally just voted for your own oppression if you voted for Biden. If you didn't vote, good, but you're still ignorant. And everything I'm saying is verifiable. Like I said, send me a comment if you think I'm lying. Watch Jim Crow Joe. Go to YouTube and watch it. Type in Jim Crow Joe. You'll see like a 15-minute video or something. They spend the first 10 minutes or 13 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever, showing video evidence of all the ignorant shit that Biden's done that's racist towards blacks. And they end it with like 3 to 4 minutes of all the shit that Trump's done in 4 years for black people. But you got to get your head out of the sand, man. You're not doing yourself any favors here. Stop letting the media manipulate you. You're a grown man. Do your own research. Do your own homework. Because that shit, you don't, when you say that Trump's a clown, you look like the clown. I'm sorry. You look like the clown. Because you're wrong like a motherfucker. You have no idea how wrong you are. These motherfuckers never help black people. They tell you, they create a problem that doesn't exist. And then when you go, oh my God, somebody help, they go, we'll help. And then they step in and tell you, this is what we're going to do to help. But then they don't do it. So but you forget that they didn't do it. All you remember is that they said they were going to help. Meanwhile, they're helping solve a non-existent problem that they claim They basically, they create a problem that doesn't exist. And then they step in to solve it when there's nothing to solve. Do your research. If you think I'm lying, send me a comment. But if you don't follow politics, then why is Trump a clown? Why is Biden some great guy? Tell me why. What's he done that's been good for black people? What's Biden done that's good for this country? What's Trump done that's bad for this country? What's Trump done that's good for blacks? Because if you can't answer these questions, then you don't have any business saying somebody's a clown or somebody's not. Because if you can't answer basic questions like that, then you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you just look stupid. And I love your channel. But that's just nonsense. That's complete fucking nonsense. You have no fucking idea the great things that Trump has done for this country. You have the whole walk away movement of black people that are becoming Republican. 90 plus, almost 94% of black people vote Democrat. And Democrats ain't done shit to help black people. The worst cities in this country are predominantly black and ran by Democrats. And they get worse and worse and worse, and yet black people keep voting for them. Wake the fuck up. Stop voting for these fucking liars. They use you for your votes. They don't give a shit about you, and the proof is right there for you to see if you dig your head out of the sand and look for it. Period.